What is it that makes a place scary? A chill in the air? Sinister shadows? Or is it something more? Something unseen? Freshman students at Ohio University found out that although everything looked innocent on the outside, on the inside, this college campus harbored a history of horror.
According to the British Society for Psychical Research, the 13th most haunted place on Earth is Athens, Ohio.
I think it's the combination of things here in Athens. You have strange things, ghosts, poltergeist activity. The room with the 666, wait a minute, let me figure this out. Yeah, a spooky cemetery. You throw in a crying angel, a haunted mental health center, residence halls that have ghostly inhabitants walking the halls at night, and you end up with a pretty spooky but pretty special place. I can't name one person I know on campus, and I know quite a few people that haven't had some experience or know someone that's had an experience.
People started telling me, oh, you live in the haunted room in Wilson Hall. Lights, curling irons, radios, all would go on and off on their own.
You can hear what sounds like marbles going across the ceiling.
All this strange stuff started happening. Things started flying around the room.
You couldn't really even make out her face, but you could see through her.
Sometimes we'd hear rattling inside.
There was a distinct sound of somebody or something moving things around in the room that we had just come out of.
I decided not to stay in my room anymore. I stayed with friends.
I've met a couple people that have felt very uncomfortable here from the start and said that they will never, ever set foot in Athens, Ohio again. You'll be surprised how many people call you and say, oh, you won't believe what's going on in our hall right now.
The Spook File is a collection of newspaper and eyewitness accounts of unexplained events in Athens.
The Spook File is the most heavily used item in our department. Yes, there are all kinds of unusual events and unexplained events that may be paranormal, and there are certainly a lot of unexplained events that never end up with any resolution.
Documents in the Spook File reveal a disturbing link between 5 local cemeteries and the town of Athens.
When these 5 cemeteries are connected, they form a pentagram around the city of Athens, with the center of this being at the very center of campus. As you branch out, you begin to hit residence halls and the ridges, the mental health center, and you hit areas that are just chock full, really, of ghost stories and of legends behind them. There are several reasons why there's so much stuff going on here, and I'm going to explain a few of them. I decided to take people out into where it actually happens. Sometimes we see some stuff that we really just can't explain away.
In 1873, the Athens Lunatic Asylum opened its doors.
The Ridges at night is, I think, a horror movie waiting to happen. Part of me is really excited to go into the Ridges because it's an opportunity that not a lot of people have. To be able to get in there and explore and see what we can find, and there's so many legends.
Originally, when it opened its doors, it was a big sign over the wrought iron facade was the Lunatic Asylum.
Now, of course, it has this new name, the Ridges, to help describe, perhaps, its geographic look, a structure of 18 million bricks.
And there on the top of this hill are these Victorian, beautiful but very spooky, very unsettling buildings. When you imagine what a 19th century mental hospital would have looked like, this is it. There are some of the rooms you can look through and still see shackles on the wall where the inmates were shackled.
Okay, now you're in the basement of Building 18. Everything's connected by either the basements or tunnels, which you see the tunnel going through down at the end of it there.
Oh, look at this. New patients, records 1943, 1945, 46, 48.
The asylum was a regular stop for a physician who conducted extreme medical procedures. He was known as Dr. Lobotomy.
He would travel around the country in a station wagon and his little tools, you know, his ice picks, And this guy could do up to 20 lobotomies a day, because it would only take 30, 40 seconds to run that ice pick through somebody's temple and spin it around a little bit and destroy the frontal lobes. And then off he'd go.
In 1979, the asylum was closed. The patients were transferred, all but one.
A woman disappeared. They searched the institution 3 times, couldn't find her anywhere.
The family had missed her and inquired as to where she was. So they had made searches, and I guess they had made several searches, you know, like in 2-week intervals, but they never found her.
Sometimes you'll actually look up there and you'll see the window and they see something peering down upon them, which obviously creeps anyone out.
Many people report an apparition.
And in this one window, you could just barely see a presence. I promise you, I know it sounds exaggerated, but you could tell there was something up there.
Year after year after year of sightings of a woman moving from room to room through the windows. Let's go see what's going on.
It's around the corner. I thought he went over here. Kevin?
Oh, God! Bats are not fun.
When the missing woman's body was eventually found, it had left a bizarre imprint.
And she come over, possibly, to look out the window. Maybe to see somebody to yell for help. But she took her clothes off and folded them real neatly and stacked them in the window. And then she laid down here.
Everything. You could see where she laid down.
It feels funny, like I got chills when I walked in here. Really?
In 1981, a student who touched the stain claimed the dead woman's spirit followed her back to her dorm room.
One night she was asleep. She opened her eyes and saw a face floating level with her head. It was a woman's face. This, of course, freaked her out greatly, really frightened her. No one heard anything for 3 or 4 days. They went in to check on the student to see what was wrong. She had killed herself in Wilson Hall.
I just hope nothing followed me out.
Coming up next, entering the suicide room.
This is the student room. We're going in. She's right here. She's standing right here.